Hello, I'd like to have a little think today about a subject which some of the rest of you might be thinking of and considering, and that is the idea of the astrological ages. Now, for as long as I can remember, people have been talking about the projected coming of the Age of Aquarius, and this is one of those things which is based upon the precession of the equinoxes, which is the thing that dogmatic scientists usually like to say is the proof that astrology doesn't work. The fact that it's actually built into the system doesn't quite get to them, but then that's not the point, is it? The whole idea of the Age of Aquarius coming is something which people have been talking about for quite some time. It became popularized in the 1960s, obviously, through things like the musical Hair. And I can remember Doreen Valiente in Witchcraft for Tomorrow conjecturing a number of dates, one of which was 2010, which in retrospect actually seems quite prescient, really, in terms of the rumblings of something. I'm especially interested in this now because I don't think I can really put off the sense that the Age of Aquarius is imminent now, in terms of looking at things in our world, and developments. They do seem really very Aquarian, not necessarily in a good way, but they seem very Aquarian. Things like the development of the internet, the accelerated development of AI, and the encroaching of AI into everyone's lives, basically, and the merging of human beings with their technology, in a sense. I mean, I'm recording this on a mobile phone, very convenient, but we've got so much happening. Globalization in various ways, all sorts of things, really, all sorts of things happening. And we've had Saturn going through Aquarius, and we are about to get Pluto making its first ingress into Aquarius. I believe it may be in March, but Pluto's going to dip in for a few months, then dip out, and then it goes in for 20 years in 2024, next year. So if anything, I would think would inaugurate or presage the beginning of the Age of Aquarius, it probably would be Pluto going into Aquarius. So hold on to your seatbelts, basically, but also, more important than hold on to your seatbelts, don't get identified with things. Stay pretty loose about all this stuff. Don't identify with stuff, because it's probably going to get very intense in some ways, at a certain level. I was thinking as well today about some stuff which Marianne Weinstein wrote in her book Positive Magic, which is a book which I have mixed feelings about. I think there's some brilliant stuff in it and there's some silly stuff in it, but she talks about the Age of Aquarius, and she talks about us being in the cusp area, and I think we are still in the cusp between Pisces and Aquarius in terms of the ages. And for instance, she talks about Aquarian themes being expressed in Piscean ways during the cusp period. So we've got people trying to expand their consciousness in various ways and connect to things, but it sometimes being done in old-fashioned, rather cult-like ways, for instance. Aquarius has a great deal to do with like individual authority and inner guidance of things. So it's inner guided religion, inner guided spirituality. It's very individual, yeah. The connection with society is there, but because Aquarius is often seen as a very social sign, and it is. But the way it's social isn't in that isn't in an authoritarian fashion. At least that's not what it's meant to be. Yeah, um, that's that will be its shadow side. You see, so the so Aquarius has different sides to it. Now, in a very conventional sense, Aquarius has um, a lot to do with society, um, but it's seen as kind of politics, and its shadow side is a real concern with power and either well wielding power and being pitted against power as well. So it has a lot of things to it. Um, there is all this stuff about this universal kind of family of humanity or what have you that there is meant to be to it as well. But of course, uh, the shadow side of that is that it gets imposed in a sense, rather than it be something which comes genuinely from within. Um, at the same time, Aquarius has a lot which is to do with real individuality and quirkiness and the eccentric, original, really new ideas. It has a quality which looks back to the ancient past and forward to uh, the truly new and original. Yeah. Um, and it also has a strong quality to it, which is very cosmic. Yeah. Not in quite the same way as people think of Neptune and Pisces as being cosmic, but it has this connection with this great web of consciousness, uh, actually throughout our planet and beyond our planet. So there's all of that sort of stuff in it. Um, but it's worth bearing in mind that during the cusp period, which we are still in really, though I think we're getting a long way through it now. Um, in the cusp period, things which sound Aquarian find manifestations which are actually uh, very Piscean, very authoritarian, uh, or cult like, um, or concerned with actually divesting us of our individuality and our individual freedom. Because Aquarius loves freedom. That's the other thing. Aquarius loves freedom. Don't think that Aquarius is about restricting people and taking away their freedoms for the sake of some kind of greater good. Aquarius doesn't deal in that sort of a thing. That's not what Aquarius is about. Aquarius is about freedom, and it is about the inclusion of everything and everybody in a sense. Yeah, it's about cosmic awareness. Um, it's about a kind of liberation in consciousness. Um, and I see it very much connected with things like the Mart current as well. But we are interested. We are entering interesting times now, and I think it's important to loosen up and let go of a lot of the preconceptions and basically unplug. You know, probably going to have to unplug a great deal because we need to find the peace and calmness within to be able to connect with the genuine cosmic consciousness and genuine cosmic connections and vibrations rather than getting plugged in and coerced to being plugged in a kind of facsimile, a falsification of Aquarius, which will be really exactly the opposite in reality. You know, be very much the same old Piscean stuff as we've had for a long time, and it will present itself as new, but it won't be, because it will simply be reproducing the same kind of authoritarian patterns, uh, but with an Aquarian stamp on them, you know, an Aquarian slogan attached or what have you. So I think those are things to bear in mind. I think we are definitely heading into the Age of Aquarius now, the very beginning of it, and that will be quite a thing to watch happen, because an awful lot of old things are going to break down now, I would think, and not work anymore. and the new hasn't emerged yet. But the new that needs to emerge is in tune with something cosmic. It's not some kind of bureaucratic or technocratic technological answer that's simply been maneuvered into place with people. So it's just to be aware of that, I think, that we're entering very exciting times, but at this level here, at this kind of, as some people say, at this 3D level here, it's best not to identify with it too much. Try and go with the flow if you can, because there's going to be a lot of flowing, and it's like you're going to have to find your authentic way to get through things. With other people, I think the connections, new connections happening between people is also something which I would hope would start to manifest now. New connections, genuine, authentic connections between people that come from the grassroots up, so to speak. Things that flower, things that unfold. This is what we need, I think. And I imagine there'll be a lot to get through on the outside in the meanwhile. But try and stay calm and try and stay peaceful and tune into your own unique, authentic essence. That's what's going to guide you, because it needs to be inner directed. So, anyway, that's my thoughts for today.